All right, boys. Lights, camera, action.
From Tobacco Republic in Loomis, California, the Loomis Cigar Cartel presents Beyond the Humidor, a cigar podcast for the rest of us. Well, welcome back again. As you can see, we're one man short, and the wonderful Sara Belt has again agreed to join us degenerates. I don't know what you're thinking, but welcome.
Clearly not thinking.
Well, you know.
You know what they say, once a degenerate, always a degenerate.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, it's another wonderful evening over here at Tobacco Republic, and let's start around the room. Sara, how's your evening going so far?
So far, pretty good.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's fun to be back here. I know everybody misses Scott, but it's fun to at least sit
70-30.
I think it's even less than that. I've got only one message from one listener about when's Scott coming back, Nathan from Texas.
Wait, is that more to do with Scott or more to do with me?
I don't know. Didn't mention you, so it's probably, well, they're waiting for they're sadly not going to get their narcotic infused rant from Scott because he's apparently, according to you, weaned himself off of it.
He has.
Oh.
Big
Start
pussy.
sprinkling it in his oatmeal.
We might have to start. You never know. Anthony, how about you? How's your evening?
Evening's fine.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Just fine, huh?
Yep.
Lawrence?
Bag of ass, just like always.
Always away with words.
Screaming towards mediocrity.
Yes. So tonight we have a really unusual cigar for you all. We picked up, this actually was given to us a while ago. Believe it or not, the Cigar Bitch, also known as Tommy Elledge, procured these from us, for us. It is the Fratello ViceVersa. It is a very interesting cigar idea. It has a mild side and it has a full side, and depending, you cut both ends and you light one and drag on the other, and you get a different flavor experience. So I know Anthony has done the mild to full, and the rest of us, through no fault of our own, are doing the full to mild.
True.
So we'll see how that goes. We'll tell you a little bit about the cigar here in the beginning, and then I think we'll get into a better in-depth conversation at the end of the show because that'll give us more time to smoke it and see what we got here. But I know you've lit it already, so any first impressions?
Yeah, V-cut for the draw end was not the best choice. Cigar's a little tight, draws a little hard, so I would do a little more aggressive cut on probably both ends. I did a standard straight cut on the lit end, but that would have probably helped on the draw end as well.
I think tight might be the order of the day because I did a straight cut and I'm still a little bit on there. So this is obviously a Churchill. It's a 7x52. It's listed as a full-bodied cigar, but I think that really depends on what you're doing. This was a pretty limited cigar when it was put out. It was 2,000 boxes. Obviously, I've had this for at least a year now. We haven't been able to get around to it, and we thought tonight would be a great night for that. It's enjoy a mild to full-body smoke with one cigar. How? First, cut both ends. Next, light the lighter-colored end for a strong flavored smoke, or light the darker end for a more mild smoke. It's up to you.
So you guys are smoking light to dark. I'm smoking dark to light.
See?
Oh, okay. Well, I will reverse that and go the other way and light the...
That would have been great fucking information to have about 20 minutes ago.
Well, I read the different... You got to understand, the description on this website is different from the one I read when I sent it to you all.
Oh, so we actually have no fucking idea.
No, not at all.
Cool.
But anyway, it is a Ecuadorian wrapper, Indonesian binder, Nicaraguan and Pennsylvania broadleaf filler. It's manufactured out of the La Aurora factory, and we're going to see what it takes tonight. So it's going to be interesting. So here we go. I'm going to light mine here. So we've had some interesting events of recent late. If you all follow us on our Facebook page, Loomis Cigar Cartel, you may have noticed that we have disappeared for half of you, or most of you. Facebook has been doing some weird shit with their AI recently, and they are... Well, I'm going to let you go into an explanation while I light my cigar of what they're kind of trying to do with their AI BS.
So what it seems to be is with AI, they are trying to quickly sweep pages, profiles that may go against terms, conditions, guidelines, community guidelines, blah, blah, blah. One of the easiest ways is to have words that they can capture and shut down pages, posts, what have you. Because we are Loomis Cigar Cartel, I think that triggers at least twice any kind of AI capture.
It does.
So, being that, yes, we are the Loomis Cigar Cartel, but primarily this community has been built around this podcast. I think it was a smart move for you to do what you ended up doing.
Yeah, we actually changed the name of the Facebook page from Loomis Cigar Cartel to it now says Beyond the Humidor, because as soon as I did that, literally within 12 hours of doing that, we were back on to being shown and recommended again. So it's been an interesting thing too with that. And it's just like, I get that their community standards are there to protect people, but we're grown-ass adults. We can make our own decisions as far as I'm concerned. And on top of that, if you're worried about children, then make a separate section that knows based off the birth date that it's a minor and won't recommend stuff like that. It's not that hard to write. They just don't want to do it.
Yeah, I feel like that's, to digress a bit, that is successful most of the time. And I am on Instagram a whole lot more than I'm on Facebook these days. So I do know that they have been, and this may be just their first iteration of going after creating a space for minors that are safer, and not just safer from over 18 hobbies and extracurriculars. Yeah.
Right.
But, and that may be something that they end up doing and the problem might go away. I highly doubt it. You and I have been discussing at great length what we should be doing in the future to help keep this community that we have worked so hard to build, and where we need to take that to keep it going. Yeah.
And there might be changes in the future, but right now it seems like we're being left alone now because they're not really messing with anything. But I mean, it goes even broader than that. I mean, if you look at the way social media has pervaded into the advertising world for everyone, not just the cigar industry, but for everyone, now you're just from the cigar side of it, you're seeing more cigar businesses that are unable to get more product information out to their consumers. What is new coming out? What is, what's the new limited edition, this, that, or the other thing, things like that. And it's becoming more of a challenge for that because, like it or not, Meta owns both Facebook and Instagram. So if it's on one, it's going to happen to the other eventually, probably sooner than we expect. But it's really creating an issue because we've also seen where the individual houses are making their own Facebook groups instead of relying on ancillary groups like ours. Mm-hmm. So that's changing the way they disseminate information too. So it's going to be an interesting way to navigate going through right now.
Well, times they be a changing.
I'll tell you right now, it's tight. Tighter than a damn drum.
This is a kind of rough.
Yeah.
Well, so when I cut the edge that I was going to light, Larry, you saw me. How many times did I cut that thing?
Well, probably 3.
Just to make sure that it was going to be a successful light, and I'm not super happy with it.
Yeah. Well,
not a bad cigar. Like so far, it's not.
The flavor's not upsetting to me in this respect. I wish I could get more smoke through it.
Yeah, me too.
But it's going to be interesting on that one. So let's go. We got a few news items, but let's start with our friend James from Grass Valley.
Hello, James.
So it's the only email I've gotten so far. He did send more information on oil pulling that we were talking about last time, about how to keep your breath fresh after smoking a cigar. So rather than read this portion of the information. It will be available at loomiscigarcartel.com under the news section. You can go check that out. But let's read the email. In response to Larry's comment the other day, the last episode, about the Jumbotron porn scandal up at one of the high schools up there.
That's what he's going to pick.
That's what he's going to pick. So he says, wasn't in the local newspaper up there in Grass Valley area. Saw it on Facebook, and it was from a local satire news site like Babylon Bee. I know you guys were interested in, so that's what he says about that. He says, I know you guys were interested in a study done by the Journal of Pediatrics or Periodontics and Perverse Dentistry. I hope the screenshots from the 2 simple Google searches suffice. That is what will be available on the site on the oil gargling thing. But he sends some factual demographics on local cigar smokers in the U.S. averages. So gender is obviously overwhelmingly male, with 6% of women making up the smaller minority, around 6 to 8%. I don't know if I agree with that one, because it's been my experience as of the last 5 to 7 years. So I don't know how old this information is, but there's a lot of women smoking cigars and enjoying this hobby now.
No, it's increased tenfold, I'd say, in the last 5 years.
So, you were an anomaly when we first started hanging out, but that's no longer the case anymore because, I go to my regular lounges in Idaho and the mix is a 50-50 at least. Stogies of Lodi, 50-50 at least.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that one's a little bit older here. This is going to drive me nuts if this thing goes to sleep this often. Race, ethnicity, predominantly non-Hispanic white, around 78%, followed by Hispanic and then non-Hispanic black users. Where's Scott when I need him?
Scott, you're now non-Hispanic.
Yeah. Nice try. Age skews older with significant proportions age 35 to 54 or 55 plus, unlike younger generations that are non-premium smokers. That too, I feel, is an older statistic because I seem to see a lot of younger people, especially when we go to big events like Rocky Mountain, things like that.
Yeah, I think it's regional.
Yeah.
I think that'll depend, based on region. And that could even depend shop to shop, as far as brick and mortars go too.
Right.
Well, pause. Just think about all of the cigar shops that we have in our immediate area that we have all gone to, at least on occasion. It is a wildly different experience between, I'll say 3 or 4.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. No, it's just, you get the crowd kind of picks itself.
Yeah.
So to speak.
Typically, other than the 4 of us here, more highly educated, larger percent holding college degrees, generally have higher household incomes, often above 200% of the poverty threshold. User patterns, infrequent use is more likely to be non-daily or infrequent users. Later initiation tend to start smoking cigars later in life compared to non-premium smokers. Less dual use, where they're likely to not likely to smoke cigarettes or other flavored cigars through. Often perceived premium cigars as less harmful than cigarettes. They say they are. Depends on which study you read and what it's skewed. So he says, stay safe and smoky. James from Grass Valley.
Thank you, James.
So the cigar news has been busy this past couple of days.
Oh, they're catching up from the holidays.
They are, absolutely. So we'll start at the back. Once again, our news section is available, loomiscigarcartel.com. Click the cigar news link at the top of the page. You can read all these lovely press releases as they come out. Lampart Cigars is pleased to announce they have been ranked number 9 on the Consensus 2025 by Half Wheel. It is a very nice looking cigar. I would like to see some stats on said cigar other than just saying you were ranked that high. Larry.
Sir.
This one's going to get you a little bit, and we're going to have to find a way to get one of these. Blackwork Studios is pleased to announce the release of the Hawaii Hornet as Arfield Wine and Company's exclusive, handcrafted by the Fabrica Oliva Negra in Esteli, Nicaragua.
Okay.
So it's like the Hornet, but this one's better. It is an Ecuadorian Maduro and Candela and Connecticut wrapper.
Okay, you have my attention.
It is a Ecuadorian Habano binder and a Nicaraguan filler. It comes in a 10-count box in a Robusto 5x50. If it's anything like their other Hornet, it's a damned good stick. So we may have to get a hold of this company out in Hawaii to get
They
some.
have a picture of it?
Yes, they do.
Is it a how are they doing bar? Okay, so is it a barber pole or what?
It's not a true barber pole. It's got the honeybee ass on the top of the cigar where you cut it, and it's got the candela leaf squarely around the bottom on the foot.
Huh. Yeah, that'd be worth a try.
I would think so. I mean, it's not bad. I mean, they're MSRPing at $11.50. That's a pretty damn good price. In California, that'd be about $18 for those of you keeping score. Okay. I don't know if you looked at all these emails, but Quality Imports is introducing a new redesign for their Paleo quad top table cutters. We're all familiar with the one like Tobacco Republic has here where you put the cigar in vertically and go chop.
Yeah, let me expound on that real quick. So I have two of those.
Okay.
I have one of the original brushed aluminum from 17, 18 years ago. And it is cut literally thousands of cigars. Used it for events, all over the place. I've loaned it out to people for other events, and it's starting to show its wear and tear. So about 2 years ago, I picked up one of the new ones from here at Tobacco Republic. There is no comparison. The new ones suck. The new one that I have that's about 2 years old, I've used, that's my cutter at home. I've maybe done 7, 8 events max with it, and it's junk. The old one that I have cuts better than this 2-year-old one. So that being said, I'm really interested to see what they've done with the new line.
Well, this is a different, unless you have a Paleo at home, which I don't know what brand that one is, but this one, they've changed it. So instead of putting the cigar straight down and levering it, the cigar goes in sideways and you push the entire box down. 2 V cuts, 2 flat cuts, just like normal.
Huh.
And it's got a larger well for holding your niblets that fall off the back when you cut it.
Okay.
This one will take the 2 straight cuts are a 52 or a 60 ring gauge, and the 2 V cuts are a 52 or a 60 ring gauge.
Okay. Does it say anything about what the blade material is? It surgical steel? Is it, what are they? Sorry, I didn't mean to
Not
drag
from what
this
I'm
down.
seeing.
No, not. It doesn't say anything about the steel that I noticed.
What's the price point?
$250.
Yeah, no, we're not gonna throw some money at that to try it out. You want to send us one? We'll try it out. But,
Right. The only thing I could see where it'd be better on this one is you're going down into the cigar and punching through it like a traditional cutter would instead of crushing it like, when you cut the top of it.
Coming around, yeah.
So that would make a little bit difference. There is a video on our website if you wish to check out a said video. Angel Quesada Shade named number 5 by Half Wheel. That is, of course, handcrafted by J.C. Newman. It is their newest line. The Angel Quesada was the official cigar of King Alfonso the 13th, who ruled Spain from 1866 to 1931. The shade is the companion to the award-winning Rosado, which was put out 3 years ago. No stats, boys. What are we doing here? You got to give me stats on the cigar so I can tell people about it. But anyway, it looked good. Flavor notes were sweetness. While we didn't agree with which sweet flavor we found, our staff tasted flavors like vanilla pudding. Vanilla pudding.
Just say fucking vanilla.
Caramel, berry jam, fresh grapefruit, and banana.
Banana?
Banana.
Where's Fozzie when we need him?
No shit, right? I don't know if you saw the pictures of this. Quality Imports unveils their limited edition 2026 Year of the Horse collection.
Yeah, I saw the picture.
Small humidor, cutter, lighter. They're gorgeous.
What's the price point?
It's funny you say that.
About like buying a horse? I mean, that we're looking at?
The Humidor Supreme, a 20-count desktop humidor, MSRP $60.99.
Huh.
The Cigar Caddy Durable 5-count waterproof travel case, $38.99. Palo Atarnes lighter, which is a double jet, $51.99, and the Zycar Perfect Cut MSRP $74.99. None of them are unreasonable.
No, that's all doable.
Yeah.
Especially for how pretty they are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll give them that. It's a nice looking collection. They did a nice job on that.
Pictures for you YouTube people will be to follow. The rest of you that don't follow us on YouTube, shame on you. Like, click, subscribe, all that BS. You should. You can see our smiling faces. For the first time in decades, 50 years in fact, Spain welcomes its first premium cigar factory. Selected Tobacco announces the opening of its new 3,000 square foot facility in Madrid, marking the return of premium cigar productions in Spain.
They dumped. Did you see the pictures they put out of that?
Uh-huh.
They dumped a boatload of money into that.
Yeah, the facility is organized across 5 levels, designed to guide both product and visitors through the full life cycle of making a cigar. The expansive core services primary dry goods storage can be converted into an event space hosting 350 guests. Second floor houses the Selected Tobacco design team. Fourth floor is dedicated entirely to the aging and presentation. And fifth floor offers a private smoking lounge and outdoor terrace. It's a pretty cool space, and wish them the best of luck. This post actually got us attention from United Cigars because they followed us on Facebook now. Thank you, by the way, United
Awesome.
Cigars. The 250th year celebrating our independence. They're announcing their new firecracker from United Cigars. It is a little tiny sumbitch, 3.5 by 50 ring gauge. They fashioned the original ones that came out years ago. They have the little long fuse sticking off of it. This one has the same thing. Beautiful tin dispatch box with the cigars in it and a 250 label on it. Pretty. Very pretty. MSRP was not mentioned. We suggested retail of $9. Shipping in June. And quantities, as they say, extremely, extremely limited.
Stop doing extremely, extremely limited cigars, jackass.
Yeah. We would prefer to have them available all the time.
Make a bunch.
We talked about the cigar deal is dead. We'll skip that one. Did I tell you about the brown trout episode?
Yes. Yes, you did.
From the makers of the brown trout, Lure Cigars announces fish sticks are back in a 10-count bundle.
Have you had one of those?
I have not. I'm actually actively looking for them so we can smoke them. Fish sticks are a flavored Nicaraguan Habano 2000 wrapper over a thick Ligero binder from Esteli and selections of premium Nicaraguan filler tobaccos, including Jalapa, and Ometepe Ligero. It sounds really good.
That's what I'm saying. The tobacco they use for that. I mean, the name's going to scare some people off, but the tobacco sounds amazing. There we go. Phone ringing in here. That did usually happen when we're recording at my shop.
No one's home.
New.
Tobacco Republic, can I help you?
That's okay. I don't even think I remember to lock the door. So it's offered. I know.
Fabulous.
It's offered in a. Oh, Craig left, so it should be locked. It's offered in 1 Vitola size. It's a box press Rothschild 4.5 by 46. Don't go to sleep. I'm busy. MSRP is $8 a cigar, $40 for the 5-pack, $80 for the 10-count bundle. As we said, it is a Nicaraguan Habano wrapper, Esteli Ligero binder, and Ometepe Ligero Esteli and Jalapa filler. This is going to be an annual release, so it's not going to be limited. It's just going to be, they produce a bunch, release it. Next year, they produce a bunch more. So we are going to try and get a hold of some of those. I want to get one for the brown trout, too, because I think that'll be fun to smoke with Scott.
Yep. No, I think both those cigars sounded really good.
Yep. Casa Carrillo also unveils an exclusive 3-blend collector box marketing a new era of digital connection, craftsmanship, and community engagement. So this box is 3 rare blends crafted from the highest quality tobaccos from trusted growers across multiple regions, produced in extremely limited quantity. 6x52 Toro. It's the most exclusive expression within the Casa Carrillo portfolio, only available to those who can earn access through their brand's digital ecosystem. So you're pretty much Facebook, Instagram, things like that. Blend number 1 is an Ecuadorian Connecticut wrapper, broadleaf Connecticut binder, and Nicaraguan and Dominican filler. Blend number 2 is a Pyramide. It's a Mexican wrapper, Ecuadorian Habano binder, and Nicaraguan and Dominican filler. Blend number 3 is an Ecuadorian Habano wrapper, Mexican binder, and Nicaraguan and Dominican fillers. So if you're interested in figuring out how to get in there, LumasCigarCartel.com cigar news, click on this article and you can look at that. It does tell you how they're going to do it through live broadcast, community driven campaigns, sweepstakes, digital activations, thing like that. So it's an interesting one to look at for that one. And we come to La Flor Dominican, which we talked about 2 shows ago. So we have surrounded out the news that I have for this episode.
Good times.
I mean, we got some really interesting brands coming out, and for those of you that do watch the YouTube channel, those Year of the Horse lighter cutter accessory sets, they're spectacular. I mean, they, in my opinion, look like they rival DuPont.
Yeah, real decent price point too.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not feeling this.
I'm not either.
I'm getting kind of a bitter aftertaste on this. And I don't know if it's because one type of tobacco is fighting the other coming through this, but I mean, it's kind of a neat novelty.
I'm struggling on keeping mine to smoke because it's so tight.
Yeah, it is awfully tight.
Yeah.
And since we decided that the mild side is the mild, and so Greg, you started with the Maduro side, smoking too mild. I think mine was mild for quarter inch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's not tasting, I mean, not that it's overpowering, but I was very curious to see how they were going to blend the mild to Maduro.
Yeah, I don't know. It's I don't think it's something I would keep in the rotation.
It's not for me. And I've never done this on the show, and I don't know how to politely say this, but I kind of want to take a pause and go get something else.
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to push through it just because I'm going to push through it.
Well, if you push through it, I'll push through it. I'm not that much of a chicken.
I don't know. I think the kind of the whole concept is a little rough for me. Anthony, how are you feeling about it?
I'm still not 100% sure which way I'm smoking it. Genuinely, I have no fucking idea. At first, my reply was just going to be, it's a cigar. But now that I'm about maybe a half inch into it, I'm smoking it way slow. Because I'll be honest, this is way more cigar than I thought it was going to be. And this is now my evening commitment. I'm actually enjoying it. It's not crazy. I'm not going to go out and buy a bundle of it or 5 sticks of it, but
You started with a Maduro end, though, correct?
I am drawing the dark end and I lit the light end. I don't know what the fuck that means.
Oh,
Yeah, I did too. I'm drawing off the full end and lit the mild end.
So I don't know if that means I don't know if the color. So for the people listening, it had color coded caps. It had a dark cap and a light cap. What we are unsure of is, do you cut and light the cap that you want to experience first, or do you draw from the cap that you want to experience first? It's unclear.
It is, because 2 different websites have said 2 different things.
okay. See, I looked last night, and the website that I looked said,
What is the can we see who's the does the manufacturer say?
I looked.
Give me a minute.
And I couldn't see anything.
Because like intuitively, I would say you light the end.
Right.
Like if you light the lighter colored end, you're smoking the milder side first. That would be what my brain.
Yeah, that makes sense.
The sad part is the manufacturer's website is not coming up as one of the listings.
No.
Well, and based on the design on the label, it says mild, and the temperature gauge goes back toward and it was oriented that mild was light.
Yeah.
So I think the end you lit is the end you're experiencing.
Mm-hmm.
It would make sense.
Yeah. So
We're
it's going to be interesting to see if this gets lighter now, because I lit the Maduro into this.
Same.
So is it darker? Is it going to be heavier right now and lighter as we get closer to the end?
I think that's the case, because I'm enjoying this so far, but it doesn't feel heavy. It doesn't feel overpowering. It's definitely, I don't know if it's full flavored, but it's got good flavor. I'm enjoying that, but it's not. I was a little bummed out when you said it might be the other way around, because I'm like, well, fuck, I did not want to start with the heavy end specifically.
Right. How's your experience? Because I'm struggling.
It's a little tight. That's part of the reason I'm working through it a lot slower, because I'm usually smoke slower anyway.
I'm envious the amount of smoke she's getting out of it.
I could say something really, really not good.
Please.
Right now.
Please don't.
I'm okay
Please
with
don't.
the smoke coming out of it. It could be more, but it's definitely not the worst I've ever had. And again, this is because we cut and lit it at like 7 p.m. I wish it were a little smaller, because I do want to finish. I'm going to feel bad if I don't get to the transition, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I get it. I'm kind of one of those where, so
It's starting to open up a little bit for me, because I was the first one to light. It's getting a little bit easier to draw, so just keep pulling on that, Greg, and maybe it'll lighten up a little bit. Sarah, it looks like yours is drawing a little better than it was when you lit it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and I think mine is too.
Other than that little bit of tightness at first, like, it looks gorgeous. I'll be honest. I'd be curious to see how it's constructed to make the transition happen. If it's just, I didn't know if it was going to be literally a light wrapper and dark wrapper that had a solid seam in the middle. Like, I was curious what it was going to look like. I'm actually surprised that it's one consistent wrapper.
Well, that's what I wonder too. You bring up a very interesting point, because the way a cigar is typically constructed in a premium like this is you're twisting tubes of tobacco leaves, full-length tobacco leaves. So does that mean that this half is Maduro and that half is Connecticut, and their twist is odd? There's no
Are they
solid
kind of
through?
like, do the ends of the leaf kind of puzzle piece in the middle?
That's
Yeah.
what I'm wondering.
If
Right.
that's the case, that's a hell of a roller to put that together.
Yeah, it is.
And not
Did they-
have it
and
bunch up in the middle.
And did they have to maybe do an extra bit of binder leaf to help hold that together, since it's not made to have a joint, for lack of a better word, in the
Right.
middle? Yeah, construction wise, it's fascinating, and flavor wise, I'm not disappointed with it.
Yeah.
So I pulled up the website that I know Greg and I use. Chris and I use it sometimes too. This one.
You can say it on Cigar Scanner.
Okay, so
Yeah.
Cigar Scanner I used to use a lot more, but I was curious to see, since I couldn't find anything Fratello related at all in the interwebs. So I don't know where this description came from, but it says, to enjoy this uniquely crafted cigar, you need to cut both ends. Then light the end that will suit the profile your palate is craving. If you light the dark cap, the cigar will start out bold and spicy.
Okay.
If you light the
That's-
lighter colored cap, the cigar's first few puffs will be smooth and mild.
That is what my brain intuitively says makes more sense.
Mhm.
It does not make sense to light the dark end to experience the lighter flavor. That
No.
does not make sense in my brain.
Which is why because I had read somewhere that it was the other way.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I first lit the cigar, having lit the fuller end, I was unsure of what I was going to experience, because it doesn't feel like the Maduro that we were reading about going into this episode.
Right. And, it's interesting because we've had our fair share of experiments in this shop. The proprietor has over the years gotten some very interesting stuff in here. Some have been good, some have been not good. And I don't know what to classify this one yet, but it makes me think back to one of the most successful experiments I think that was done was a line that's no longer in production right now. Steve, you know exactly which Steve you are. When is it coming back? That would be Kubarica.
Mm-hmm.
He did the Lancero light blue car where he had that beautiful Maduro cigar with the cap put on with the honey and brown sugar, and you cut it and you'd get the sweet taste on the lips, but the smoke remained pure Maduro, and it was just such a fantastic experience.
That was a great cigar. That was one of the, back in the day, one of the few Lanceros that I would smoke.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it was.
So, and Steve, those need to come back around, man. Those were very good. That whole line
Was amazing.
Was phenomenal cigars.
You found some about 5 years ago, didn't you?
Yeah, up in Reading. We were traveling, and Miss Daisy was searching places on her phone, and we rolled into this place. Looked like a liquor store, but had a walk-in humidor. And I'm looking around. Lady was in there stocking, putting stuff up, and I looked down, and I'm like, "Oh shit!" And red cars. They had about 6.
The Corojo.
And I picked them up, and I said, "Hey, do you have any more of these?" She goes, "Yeah, I think there's a couple more here." And she went, and so I got 6 red car, 1 yellow car, and 2 blue cars. And yeah, I mean, I had those laid out, on a calendar page for how many days, weeks in between to smoke those out, because they were fantastic. And luckily I picked them up from a place that they were properly humidified. They weren't dried out, they weren't cracked, they weren't shitty. And yeah, I smoked 2 of them back to back and driving to the Redwoods from Reading. But yeah, and that just goes to show you, every once in a while, man, you can find some stuff. His brother, my middle son, one of his neighbors who smokes a cigar apparently once a month or so, gave my son Chris a sample pack. And I told Chris, and I looked at it when he goes, "Hey man, my neighbor gave you this," and I opened it, and I'm like, okay, it's halfway decent selection. I kind of looked in there, and I didn't think anything about it. It's got a humidifier pack, Belvita pack. So I zipped it back closed, threw it in my desk drawer. A couple days later, it was towards the end of the day. It was about 2:33 in the afternoon, and I wanted something smaller than what I had in my travel humidor at the time. And I go, "Oh yeah, I got that sample pack." I think there was a couple of littler ones in that. And there was like a Cigarello, a Plasencia Cigarello in there. And then I'm like, "What's this other one?" It was an Opus X.
What?
And I'm like, I pull it out and I'm like, holy shit. So I walk back across the shop to his brother. I'm like, "Hey man, ask this guy where he got this sample pack, because you don't just find this in a sample pack typically."
No.
So I sat there and smoked an Opus X for the rest of the day.
Oh, darn.
So
Terrible.
yeah, horrible.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, just pay attention. Scott and Tiny Wife and Miss Daisy and I were down in the Bay Area during COVID camping. We had reservations somewhere. I don't remember where the hell it was now, but
Were you in Pacifica or something like
someplace
that?
like that.
No, down the coast further by Monterey. It starts with a.
I don't remember.
Anyway, yeah, I know where you're talking about. It's when they had the dog with a stroller, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And same thing, Miss Daisy looked up a couple places, and we walked in, and this was a straight liquor store. But they had, the wall humidors, sliding glass door humidors, and the Blue Label Camachos the guy had in there. And you can find Camachos a lot of places. The blue label's not
not a
norm. And so Scott and I cleaned them out of blue labels. I think there was 12 left in the box, and we each bought 6, or 14 and we each bought 7, or whatever it was, but we cleaned them out. So yeah, just, pay attention. My wife's deal on that when she's looking at stuff online is if the first 3 or 4 pictures are glass products, then it's probably more of a head shop than a cigar. But if she can see pictures that they actually have either the glass front sliding door humidors or a walk-in humidor, she marks it and we go by and at least take a look.
Yeah.
So,
well, it's just like that one you found that we went to in Eureka when we were in the Redwoods.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that was, I don't know if I'd call that a cigar store, but it was that was a liquor store that had a nice walk-in humidor, and they had some good stuff in there.
Well, and yeah, the people behind the counter knew enough about cigars. I mean, they, you want me to cut that for you? And yeah, they could hold a conversation about what they had in their humidor. So that's kind of nice when you're out traveling around.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and I think, I don't think people do enough of looking around as cigar smokers when they travel, because you really can find some gems. I mean, you talk about 2 states that have, cigar deserts, Montana and Wyoming. Wyoming has very little cigar stores at all. If anything, I know they have Cheyenne has a big, not Cheyenne, Casper, Wyoming has the Casper Cigar Company, which makes some great cigars. But other than that, they don't have it. I got dropped into the little town of Cody, Wyoming. Their only name to fame is they're the East Gate to Yellowstone. So I'm out there. Of course, I didn't bring any cigars because I was under the mistaken assumption that I should be able to find cigars anywhere. No, not the case. Vermont's another one, cigar desert, because there's strict ass smoking laws. But I pull up, I search for cigars, and the only thing that comes up is Tobacco Barn. And I did, what your wife does. I'm looking at the pictures. I'm like, I don't really know about this. What the fuck? I want a cigar.
Well, yeah,
Let's go.
You're out there for a week. What's the worst that could happen? When you're smoking backwoods for 4 days.
Right. So, I trundled in there, and I was surprised because, yes, it was primarily cigarettes and pipe tobacco. Their pipe selection was incredible. Their pipe tobacco selection was ginormous. And they had a small, much like we had at the old lounge over here when they had the stand-up in the corner over there. They had a small stand-up humidor with some decent Rockies, a few things that I knew what they were, and some brands I didn't know what they were. So, I'm there for 2 weeks, grab a handful, and let's go.
Yeah,
see what we get.
Couple of standards, couple of new ones, and roll the dice. Mm-hmm. Yep.
But the shop that impressed me the most on one of those trips was in Montana. There are very few because you're talking a ginormous state with no population, but Bell Pipe and Tobacco in Missoula. Mm-hmm. Lady that runs it, she is super knowledgeable about all things tobacco, whether it be cigarettes, pipes, tobacco, or cigars. Her walk-in humidor was probably 20 by 20, and you couldn't have stuffed another cigar in there if you tried. I mean, she had everything under the sun and very reasonable pricing because her taxes are so low. So you just never know. Just don't be afraid to go look around.
True statement.
But so I kind of went back and forth, but I want to talk about this anyway. So up. No, I mean, I don't want to disparage Fratello or anything, but this cigar to me is gimmicky.
Oh, 100% gimmicky.
So, what are your all thoughts on something like this? I mean, is it something that, obviously we're trying it for the show because we were given them for the show, so let's smoke them. But what are your thoughts as a normal everyday you see something like this? What are your thoughts?
I'll pick up just about anything.
Mm-hmm.
Because they obviously manufactured this for a reason. What information we were able to get out of it about the tobacco, it's decent tobaccos. Mm-hmm. And this is getting better, by the way.
I'm almost halfway through. I'm about where you're at.
Yeah, this is definitely it's drawing better. Flavor is kind of mellowing out a little bit. I don't have that kind of funny aftertaste anymore. That was a little rough in the beginning, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
So
I'm wondering if the tightness and the funny taste had to do with, we were talking about the construction, if they had to do, because they put essentially 2 caps on it. If that, again, I don't roll cigars, but I don't know if maybe they needed more pectin or something. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, there's definitely something about this, but yeah, to answer your question, yeah, I'll try just about anything, because I can remember back when the barber pole was a gimmick, and people were like, "Oh, Jesus Christ, I'm not smoking that." Well, shit, go to any big humidor now, and how many different barber poles are there?
A lot.
Candela is another one that started out as a gimmick, and there's some fantastic Candela cigars out there. It's either in your wheelhouse or it's not. There's guys that come in this shop on the regular that wouldn't smoke a Candela at gunpoint.
Right.
And that's fine. There's some of the stuff they smoke that I'm not drawn to either. But there's all kinds of stuff, the twisted, 3 or 4 cigars twisted together. There's a couple of different those that I've seen over the years. Our buddy Felix rolls an L. It's looks like a pipe where he cuts and rolls 2 together. That's amazing. There's some really good stuff out there, and you never know until you try it.
Yeah.
Like I said, going back to the barber pole, there were people like, I don't know about this. Hey, give it a shot. You know? There's some great barber pole cigars. You get really unique flavors out of some of those. Like I said, this is getting better. I would be willing to try this again and flip it around and smoke it the other way. Before I say no, I'm not going to do any of these ever again. But yeah, I mean, it's working marketing wise, because we're smoking and talking about it. So even if you smoke this and didn't like this cigar, at least you've looked at this house, and most of us are creatures of habit. We're going to go, hey, what else do they have? And hey, maybe you'll find your next go-to in that. And that's why they're doing this, is just to to draw attention to the brand, not necessarily the specific cigar.
Right.
Well, and like Sarah and I were talking to, you remember Paul? He joined us on the show back before we had the camera.
Yeah,
we were making jokes that he couldn't sit his feet wouldn't touch the floor when he sat in the chair. So that's what Sarah and I were talking about with him as we were leaving our place of employment today, is that we're going to smoke this cigar. It's a gimmick cigar, but that's okay. But then he goes, well, what? And he did. He said, well, what else do they make? And I was telling him, well, originally when Fratello came out I think it was about 10 years ago or so, it was a standard red and white label. It was a medium body. I'm thinking it was a Nicaraguan wrapper, but I can't quite remember that. When it first came out, it was one of my favorite cigars out of Omar's line. Yep. He's since made several more. His line's at least 15 or 20 different cigars now. Different color bands dictate the different kinds of cigars. And I haven't met one so far out of Fratello that I haven't liked.
No, they have the cross section across the board. They have some very good cigars. And again, for a marketing piece, I think this is a good idea. It's not for everybody, 100%. I don't think there's any one cigar out there that is.
Right.
But, like I said, we're smoking it, we're talking about it. So it's a win for them.
Yeah.
The number of people they can get to give it a shot, man, look at their brand.
Yep. And what's your opinion, Miss Sarah, on the quote unquote gimmick cigar?
Thanks for letting us try one.
Thank you, Tommy, by the way.
Yes. Thank you, Tommy. I mean, not to beat a dead horse, but I think Larry covered a lot of things about the gimmick cigar in general. As for this specific one, glad I gave it a try. Wish we didn't need a degree to figure out which end to
Cutting
light
light.
to smoke.
Here's a question. Here's a question to ask the manufacturer, because I'm hitting the transition right now. Do they have a cigar that is 100% the mild end of this one? Or vice versa? Do they have one that's all the Maduro end? Did they take two basic cigars that they already make and combine them to make this?
Mm-hmm.
That would be a question I would like answered, because as this is transitioning, the mild is getting very nice.
Yeah. I agree.
So yeah, that would be something I'd want to know from them. But yeah, and this exactly is why I said I would go ahead and push through this, hoping for something like this. Because half inch ago, I was like, yeesh, I don't know. Right now, this is tenfold better than it was when I started it.
Right.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you guys, I know you've seen it. I'm sure you've seen it. I don't know if you've seen it. One of my favorite quote unquote gimmick cigars I've ever seen comes out of Drew Estate, and it's the egg.
Oh yeah.
It is have you seen an egg?
I've seen an egg.
Yes. So it's a perfecto that goes from like 50 ring gauge on either end to 80 to 90 in the middle, and it's egg shaped, and you cut one end and off you go. And I've never smoked one. I've only ever seen it in here once. I've seen it in other shops periodically. It looks interesting.
I've smoked one. It's hard to smoke.
I believe that.
That's a sit down by yourself and pay attention to what you're doing, because there's a lot of surface area. And even the guys out there that are smoking, 60, 70 ring gauge, stuff on the regular, this is so much more surface area than that.
Mm-hmm.
It is hard to pull that much air. When you get to the middle of that thing, it is hard to pull that much air through that consistently to keep that thing lit.
Right.
You're torching the shit out of it all the time. And that's not the best experience. It's a decent cigar, but it's a lot of work.
Right.
Okay, so quick recap. As you're talking about 80 ring gauge cigar, I am reminded of a trip to Rocky Mountain Cigar Festival when we all grabbed beverages after dinner. You were not there. Larry, Scott, Chris, and I went to
Brown Palace, most likely.
Brown Palace. And there was the gentleman who was sitting at the bar.
Yeah, go ahead.
80, 90 ring gauge.
Probably a 90.
Probably a 90.
Shit, you're talking nearly 2 inches in diameter.
Oh, this thing was huge.
It was.
He looked like he was smoking one of those souvenir bats that you used to get, at the major league games. It was, and he was working the dog shit out of that thing.
Now, I cannot remember if he had the same server that we had, who almost lit all of our faces on fire.
Well, that trip, that was so much milder than the first time we were there.
I know.
When the guy almost lit Lewis's face on fire, and Lewis flipped out, man.
Oh yeah,
and with good reason. I mean,
sure.
That guy came so close to burning Lewis, it was ridiculous. And this is right after he poured my beer from like 18 inches over the glass, just straight into this fucking foam. And it's like, what the fuck is this guy doing? It's $29 beer night at this fucking place. Can you take it easy on my beer there, homeboy? And then he lights this thing that this torch lighter that I've welded with a smaller flame than this guy's trying to light Lewis's cigar. And I thought Lewis was going to kill him. How it did not singe Lewis's eyelashes. It may have, and he just didn't tell us, but holy Christ, man. The only thing I can remember personally coming that close to getting my face lit up is spraying ether into a carburetor and it backfired. That's what it looked like, this guy trying to light Lewis's cigar. And I don't know if the lighter was displacing gas before it ignited or what, but Jesus Christ, the ball of fire that came off this thing was ridiculous. But, apparently it was okay because it didn't stop us from going back the next trip.
No.
We rolled right in there and did the same shit.
Well, I remember giving you an 80 ring gauge, and it was an Asylum 1380. And I think you actually, Scott never smoked his, but I know you did.
I like those Asylum, the big ring gauge.
Yeah.
And if you want to try a 70, 80 ring gauge, Asylum's the way to go.
I think so too.
If you're not a big ring gauge smoker, because I think from the large cigars that I've tried, I think Asylum manufactures the best 70, 80 plus ring gauge cigars.
We're not paid to say that, by the way.
Yeah, and Asylum, hey, if you want to reach out to us, please. I'll be happy to talk about those forever because I think you guys make a great product all the way through your line. But
well, it's when you talk about that 80 ring gauge, the owner, that half of the ownership of Asylum is Christian Arroyo with CLE. The other half is Jeff, and I'm sorry, I don't remember your last name, Jeff, but he's the other partner. He does the Asylum side. And I asked him at Rocky Mountain one year because I had picked up an 80 ring gauge Asylum Corojo as a joke. I typically, as you know, don't smoke anything above a 55. I'm not interested. But I'm like, what the hell? Let's try this.
it was a great cigar.
And I smoke it. I lit it in Winnemucca, Nevada, and dropped it in the ashtray. I dropped, maybe a half inch of it into the ashtray at Tommy's place. That's a 4-hour drive for those of you that have never done that. From Winnemucca, Nevada into Parma, Idaho. It's a 4-hour drive. That cigar never had to be retouched. It smoked beautifully, perfectly for 4 hours. I got a complete enjoyment out of it. So I see him at Rocky Mountain. I'm like, hey, dude, tell you about this experience I had. And he goes, you did exactly what I designed that cigar to do. And I said, tell me something. Typically, when I smoke a larger ring gauge of a cigar that I like, he goes, you normally smoke my 50 on this one. I said, yes, I like your 50 Toro or your 1118 if I can get that one. I said, they taste the exact same. He goes, they do. And I'm glad you picked that up because most people don't. I said, why? Because I know you have to put a lot of Seco and Velato to fill that space. He goes, I don't. There's a reason you pay a premium price for that cigar. Instead of putting filler tobacco in there, I put more of the primary binder leaf as the filler tobacco, so you get the same flavor experience if you're smoking the 50 versus the 80.
Yep.
That's the craftsmanship that they do.
And that's the difference. And that's one of the reasons it burns so well, too.
Mm-hmm.
Because, you can light one of those and I don't know, it was probably 3 or 4 trips ago to Southern California a couple of years ago. I lit one at the house when we left Auburn, and I dropped it in the ashtray at the bottom of the Grapevine when we were gassing up.
Yeah.
So that was a 3.5 hour, almost 4 hour run.
Yeah.
With that, and same thing. I mean, it doesn't tunnel, it doesn't canoe. It just burns great.
Yeah. And to me, it opened my eyes to looking at the larger ring gauges and taking them more seriously because my favorite 60 ring gauge is the Digger by LFD. Mm-hmm. And everybody says, oh, that's a really powerful cigar. It can be if you don't prepare properly for that.
Oh yeah, that's a lunch, lunch and dinner and then light a cigar. That's not have a Pop-Tart for breakfast and fire that thing up. It's going to kick the shit out of you. I don't care who you are. I don't care what you smoke. I don't care how long you've been smoking. That cigar was designed for power. It was, and they'll tell you that. You look right on their literature on that cigar. That's what it says.
Yeah.
And it's still a good cigar, but you got to be at least half as smart as what you're smoking. Do your research.
Yeah.
If you're going to pull something like that, have a meal. Dial yourself in and drink something with it, whether it's water, coffee, bourbon, beer, something, because you kind of need to flush through as you're pulling something like that, because it's a lot of tobacco, a lot of power, a lot of flavor too, though.
Yeah. Well, I have a new bottle to bring in for when Scott comes back.
Ruh-roh.
So for my birthday last month, I was gifted a bottle of Penelope 4-grain bourbon.
Huh. Okay.
I have not opened it yet.
I'm not familiar.
I have had Penelope before. It was at Rocky Mountain. They do make some fine whiskeys, I think. And we all know, all of us in here, including Anthony, have had the pleasure of drinking Graham's 4-grain Enigma.
Mm-hmm.
Ethan he is nursing the last few ounces in the bottle I gave him.
Oh, I bet he is, because it's gone. Graham. Oh, by the way, happy birthday, Graham. It was just yesterday.
Yesterday or the day before.
Yeah, happy birthday.
Happy belated birthday, Graham.
But I know that they did get rid of that. It was a beautiful bourbon, beautiful whiskey made. And if you want to know more about Hogback and Graham and Catherine, go back to episode 50. Watch that episode, because they're here live with us at Tobacco Republic, and we're drinking whiskey and having a good time and breaking glasses. And
it is a crime that it's been almost over 100 episodes now we haven't had them back on.
Yeah. Well, they haven't been out here either, because Graham had his health issues.
Man,
so
we were that bad.
Scared them off.
Okay. I just remember I came in, I do not recall, but I came in shortly after they had been in town, and I think I was in the shop it felt like 45 seconds, and you guys broke open the bottle. Larry said, "Go grab a glass."
Oh,
and I got the tiniest sip, and
I can tell you which day that was.
Okay,
that was
afraid.
Craig's funeral.
That's what I was.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I thought, but I wasn't 100% sure.
Mm-hmm.
I was hoping it was not that.
No, it was, because that was the last of that bottle that we drank to Craig.
Yep.
I still have, Ethan, if you're listening, we can negotiate. I have a full bottle of Enigma at the house. I have not opened it yet. Don't know if I plan on opening it right now, but I have a full bottle, so there's some negotiation.
Ethan will cut off a testicle for you.
I don't think.
How much are they worth? How much are they worth on the black market?
Kidney, piece of a liver, whatever you need. I'm sure he'll figure it out.
Right.
May not be his, but he'll figure it out.
Right.
Oh,
but it's one of those where you find something special and you got to hold on to it, because. But he's got a new one out. And we were able to sample it at Rocky Mountain this year. And I can't remember the name. I'm sorry, Graham. Brown has a bottle in Boise, and it is fantastic.
Quick segue, alcohol news wise,
Mm-hmm.
and this may not resonate with any of you guys. You might be the only one because of your employment. Stoli vodka is no more.
What happened?
Really?
They are shutting it down.
Scott, did you hear that?
No, not
Not Russian Standard.
not Russian Standard.
Oh, so Stolichnaya is gone.
And when I was still pouring drinks for a living, Stoli was one of the top vodkas. They made a black label version called Cristal. Stoli Cristal was their top shelf.
What that is.
So far back that in, I believe, 1990, a place that I was working that we poured a lot of Stoli, we were bringing it in by the case, and we had an event going on a weekend, went into the liquor storage and broke open a new case of Cristal, and the first bottle I pulled out turned out there were two in this 12 bottle box that were still labeled product of the USSR.
Wow.
So for something that was that prominent and been around that long to be going by the wayside is kind of telling for the industry. If you're into, craft beers, craft spirits, pay attention to the news in those segments, because a lot of, that's one thing we noticed at Christmas time when we were down in Southern California. A lot of small breweries have gone out.
Well, I know one of the vendors that we see at our place of employment was saying that the bourbon industry is going to have a issue coming up.
Yeah, because of the barrels.
The white oak barrels are getting harder and harder to get because the government's not letting them cut down the white oaks anymore, which I get it. But so it's going to change American bourbon to more, the thought that this vendor was relating is that they'll have to change the regulation on bourbon to where it becomes more of like how Scotland does their scotch.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going to be getting used casks instead of new casks.
Yeah, and that's going to change the whole dynamic.
It will.
We'll have to talk to our friend tomorrow.
Well, I want to get our friend, if we're talking about the same friend, I want to get him on the program one night to talk bourbon.
Yep. No, that'd be good.
He has many a thought.
Yeah, on bourbon. And he smokes cigars.
There you go.
Oh, does he?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he smoked with Paul and I when we used to smoke at our place of employment. But, it's one of those, there are so many craft distilleries and breweries that we've come across that in travels that make a great product.
Yep.
I think about Eel River when we were up there.
Oh, yeah.
And then what's the other one with the shark?
Lost Coast.
Lost
Brewing.
Coast. Phew.
Lost Coast is good.
I'm not a beer drinker, but when we met Larry and the group at Lost Coast after Mom and I went exploring in the Redwoods, and that craft root beer that they're making, that is good stuff too. If you're not a beer fan like I am, so I just don't want to see all the small guys go away because.
Well, and that's back to what we preach, kind of on the regular, is support your brick and mortar.
Mm-hmm.
If you've got something, we're lucky here in the Sacramento area where we live. There's a lot of craft breweries. I'm a beer guy. There's some really good ones. There's some okay ones. We're sitting, 400 yards from a restaurant that's run by one of the better craft breweries in this area, which is Loomis Basin Brewing. But there's some great ones. You've heard me pitch Grass Valley Brewing.
Mm-hmm.
There's Two Ass Brewing now in Auburn that's putting out some good. They have a great Mexican lager. They have a dark Mexican lager that's really good. But yeah, just get out and sample some stuff. Support the locals.
Well, you used to live downtown.
Yes.
And
I'm sorry.
Well,
I loved it. Thank you.
Well,
different type of life.
Different type. But I remember, going downtown. I remember going with Wes quite often because you and I never really went out to drink. But going out with Wes, and he'd say, "Let's go get something to eat," and we'd go downtown to Capitol Brewing or something, or a couple of the other ones. The food was really good. The beer, I wouldn't know, but Wes always enjoyed it. But a lot of those that have been downtown are gone.
Yep.
They're closing up and leaving.
Yep.
Well, part of that is because the work from home craze from COVID on. I don't think people realized, without stopping and thinking about it, that if you're not forced to go downtown, you're not traveling from Roseville to downtown to get something to eat or have a beer.
No.
Now, if you're down there already for work, then you might stop on your way home and have something to eat and a beer or two.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
But, by and large, we don't travel that far, any of us, to eat and drink.
No.
Right.
It's a stretch for me to go to Folsom to eat and drink.
Yeah.
Just because, I don't want to be driving home after a couple beers.
Nope.
There's an event coming up at Felix's that I mentioned to Miss Daisy, and she's like, "Yeah, we're not doing that."
That is not a thing we will be doing.
It's a tequila and cigar pairing coming up at Felix's. Okay. Tequila pairs with a lot of things.
Yes.
Good decisions is not one of them.
No.
And, I'm like, yeah, we do not need to be driving back windy ass fucking roads from my house to Folsom and back after sampling some tequila from a guy that pours a taste, 4 fingers deep. So, it's one of the better decisions I've made recently.
Good job.
Is passing on that.
It wasn't a brewery, but I remember, you took me down to one of the, in my opinion, the best independent coffee houses in the area. And that was when we went to Temple, and it's really hard in the giant blue or giant green monster age to find an independent coffee house that's serving something good.
Yeah. And it's funny. There used to be one, it changed. It's still there, but it changed owners. Not near as good now, I don't think. Was Courthouse Coffee up in Auburn, literally across the street from the old historic courthouse.
What is it now?
I don't know if it's still called Courthouse Coffee, but it's not the same owners.
Because there's Poor Choice, but I think that's
Poor Choice is down in actual Old Town.
Okay,
we've been there, haven't we?
Yes.
Poor Choice is good. Poor Choice is too crowded for me. I mean, it's just, just, no.
We
Poor
barely walked in.
Poor Choice is like it's like going to Costco on a weekend. I don't think so. And no, I'm not trying to bag on Poor Choice. I think they got a great following. They have great food and drink, but it's just not my speed. There's some neat stuff. There's a new little coffee place, and I haven't tried it yet, and shame on me because it's right up the street from my shop, right in Old Town, Newcastle. Anthony, do you know the name of that place?
I could have if you didn't ask me directly this second. I've heard nothing but good things about it, though, from the ladies in the cheese shop, from the Gilmores. I've heard good things about it.
I want to try it.
It's right.
So I'm going to look it up.
It's right next door to Newcastle Pizza. So
I can picture
never better coffee.
Never better that. Yeah.
Okay. So somebody that I follow on social media lives up in that area a little bit, and it's some friends of hers. There's another coffee shop that I go to, but that's because my friend works there. It's called Roni's.
Where's that?
It's on Boyington. It's next to Penryn Pet Hospital.
Oh, yeah. That's in that new building right there off the freeway, right behind 76 there.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I've seen that. I haven't been in there yet.
Yeah, my friend works there, and so I go weekly, but I keep meaning to try Never Better. So if you go first, or if I go first.
Yeah, I'll roll up there now that I'm thinking, because you get into the rut and you forget about it. So I'll roll up there this week and check it out. How we doing cigar wise, guys?
Anthony's still where we left him. I am warming up to this cigar.
It definitely changed. The transition was definitely pronounced, wasn't it?
Yes.
And again, do you have a cigar that is all the lighter version of this? Because I would really be interested in that. I'd really like to smoke one of those complete.
I feel like that's a very good morning coffee.
Oh, 100%. 100%. Yeah.
So,
what are your thoughts?
I haven't, if you've been paying attention on the video, I've been pinching mine a lot. Right at the cap. Excuse me. I have crossed the transition. I don't know which end I'm in now. I think I'm in the Maduro end.
Yes.
But the pinching is because I have a plug right here at the cap.
Oh, yeah.
It's stiff as a board. I'm also developing a tar label on the bottom here. That being said, okay, I don't fully understand which end I think I'm in the Maduro end.
Yes.
If the dark end is in your mouth, then yes, it's the
Maduro. So the it's funny because I have the complete opposite opinion you two do. The front half, and part of it might be because I've been fighting this plug the entire time, but the front half, I really wasn't getting a lot of flavor out of it. I was getting a small modicum of smoke, but there wasn't really that much flavor in it. Now with the Maduro end, I'm still fighting that plug, but it's warmed up. It's gotten to where it's a little bit more oily on the tobacco. So I'm getting more of a light spice note, not really anything heavy. I don't consider this a full body at all.
No, this is a medium at best.
You know, and so in your case, you want to try the lighter version. In my case, I want just the Maduro side. I want to try that.
I would try both of them for sure. But it's funny you said oily, because now that I've made the transition, I don't have that oiliness feeling, taste at all. And it's just eased itself in to the lighter version very, very well. So
the flavor and the aroma profile I'm getting reminds me more of like a rum raisin fruit cake more than anything else. It's
lamb and raccoon.
Yeah, kind of. But it's sweet in the general sense, but it's got a nice spice note to it, and it's very warming. I think this end with a nice spicy bourbon would be a great, not a hot bourbon, a spiced bourbon, if that makes any sense, would be a very good accompaniment to this end of the cigar. Mm-hmm. So I'm glad we tried it.
Yeah, me too.
I'm
glad we powered through it.
I'd be interested to try a couple of more. I got to say, when I said I kind of want to put it out and get something, I did mean it. But I'm glad you said, well, I'm going to stick it. Okay, well, I will too, because this end of it for me, the Maduro end of it, is very pleasant.
Yep. No, this would be a great cappuccino.
Yes.
For this,
Yes.
Yeah.
I was a little bit worried because Greg prepped us, and again, not knowing what we were going to be getting ourselves into, like, I can appreciate that.
Well, listen, after the fighting cock, I think I owed you guys prepping that. Okay.
Appreciate it. Thanks. Episode
something.
15. No, it was after Graham and Catherine. So
yeah.
Anyway, I was a little bit worried, and then when I inadvertently lit the Maduro side first, I was curious to see what that transition would look like, and if my palate would be absolutely ruined by smoking the Maduro first. But then it's not.
No, it was
not as strong as I was
an
expecting.
interesting transition for sure.
Yeah.
So. What do you think over there, Ridley?
I think if you're going to smoke a cigar that is that has the transition, you got to get past the halfway point before you put it out. So I'm glad we all decided to keep smoking, but I'm coming up on the end of the lighter side. I am intrigued to see what the darker side changes to, but it's not bad. I do kind of agree with what my dad said, that if I had seen these in here, that would have been something where I go, oh, that's something I can get him for birthday or Father's Day that he wouldn't have had before. It's, again, is it a gimmick? Yes, but kind of like you said, if barber poles were a gimmick, but now we have barber pole cigars, if this is something that companies can figure out and do one run of something every couple of years that is a transition cigar, and if they're good,
they're going to sell.
Yeah.
Either way.
Yeah.
But
you got the trouble is you're rolling the dice on not just one blend being good, but both blends being good,
have to be good
and working together.
Yeah.
And that's, look at the industry right now. There's some fantastic stuff coming out. So, I'm sure there was a lot of due diligence going in. They didn't just throw this together and go, hey, fuck it, let's see what happens. And if they did, then they did a pretty good job. But like I said before, I'd be interested to know if they took two production cigars and decided to marry those two, or if this is a completely unique production all to its own.
Well, do you remember when Hamlet was here,
Mm-hmm.
and he was talking about what position the leaf is put in dictates your experience, i.e., when you think of a tobacco leaf, you've got the stem end and you've got the top of the leaf. The stem end tends to be more acidic, more oily, and more pronounced in flavor.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things he was mentioning as he was literally, as we've said on previous shows, he's rolling a cigar and he's not even looking at what he's doing. He's looking at you and answering your questions. And one of the things he said is, when you bunch a cigar and then you pinch off the bottom end of it. Well, when he was rolling the 22-inch 50s for the Colibre that he rolled for the shop, he pinched off those bottom ends and he put them at the top, what would be the cap of the cigar. And he said, I want to do this because the more oily and the more bold flavors, I want the end user to experience that at the end of the cigar. I want the cigar to ramp up in flavor. Conversely, you can do the same thing the other way. You start at the foot of the cigar, you put that oily end, and you put the top end of the leaf that is more mild in flavor because you want them to experience that mild at the end. So the blending, depending on how they did the blending for the stick, would absolutely change the experience.
True statement. Well, we about ready to wrap this one up, guys.
I think so. Any final thoughts there? No?
Well,
You?
No.
I'm good.
Play it out. Well, my cigar's not quite down to the nub, and tea and the coffee are probably empty because there was no alcohol tonight. It's been a dry few shows. I'd like to thank everybody for listening. On behalf of Scott, Larry, Sarah, and myself, thank you. Check us out at LumasCigarCartel.com.
And Anthony.
Oh, and Anthony. Don't forget Anthony over there.
Hello.
Scott's not even here either. So, thank you all for listening. We appreciate your time and attention. And check us out at LumasCigarCartel.com. Like and share us on Facebook. Follow us on Instagram. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe and the bell notification on YouTube so you get all our updates. And we'll see you on the next episode. Scott's waiting for his funky keyboard, but I ain't Scott. So, as he would say in his absence, good smoke, good drink, and good life. Take care, everybody.
Take it easy.